We start with the most obvious method, which is YouTube Typebeats plus BeatStars funneling. Some people may use Instagram, TikTok or other platforms to sell on BeatStars, but generally 99% of the time you will use YouTube Typebeats to sell on BeatStars. You will not sell directly through BeatStars. This is very rare to happen. This is very uncommon. It actually happens sometimes. I did direct BeatStars sales recently because I didn't post my beat anywhere. It was only on BeatStars and I make a sale, which was really weird, but it happens. But never assume that you will just sell your beats on BeatStars without any marketing. You need to use other platform, and 99% of deals on BeatStars is probably from YouTube, so just you need YouTube Typebeats channel and sell those beats on BeatStars. I'm Mordalski and I will help you make your first case selling beats. If you are focused on selling leases, not on making a lot of views on YouTube, you want to go for specific niches, so I would even expand this method, which is YouTube niche Typebeats plus BeatStars method, okay? Because now I want to talk about the second method, which also uses Typebeats but in a completely different way. The second method is making money from YouTube AdSense. What's the difference between first and second method? In first method, we want to make some specific Typebeats for specific audience, really want to meet their expectations and make as many sales on BeatStars as possible, okay? So we want to make specifically beat for example, fans of NWA who want to make similar song, and there are not many beats in this style on YouTube, so we want to sell them leases, okay? We don't really care if we get 100 views or 1000 views or 100,000 views. We want to sell them leases, because those customers are willing to pay. But we can get completely different approach, and you will see this not with, for example, J. Cole Typebeats and NWA Typebeats. You will see this with, for example, Boom Bap Freestyle Typebeats, Old School West Coast Freestyle Typebeats, so, and also some underground Typebeats, so Splurge Typebeats and other stuff like that. So this kind of business is based on making a lot of views and getting money from AdSense on YouTube. Those Typebeats that we create in first method are actually meant to get few 100,000 views in best scenario. If we want to focus on AdSense, we want to get millions of views, and this is possible generally because you can make those kind of boom bap freestyle Typebeats, like few of those beats a day, and every each of them will get a lot of views. Main difference between first and second approach is actually our base client, and this is concept from a lot of marketing books. For example, from this book from Russell Brunson, which is about getting more traffic on your website. So generally, in first method, our perfect avatar of client is just 20 years old plus guy who just has some songs on Spotify. He knows something about releasing music, mixing, mastering, and generally understands the game. So he wants this specific sound and wants to buy it, wants to release it on Spotify. He doesn't want to hustle with that. In second scenario, our perfect client, our perfect listener on YouTube is some 13-year-old who like has 2 songs on SoundCloud and just knows nothing about the music industry. Generally likes to freestyle with homies, and he has SoundCloud rapper and links in the bio on his private page on Instagram. And there's many guys, those SoundCloud rappers, those guys who just want to freestyle. So yeah, that's why those underground Typebeats, those freestyle Typebeats like boom bap, old school Typebeats, they get a lot of views, and then you can make a lot of money through AdSense, because yeah, those people who made those viral beats, they usually make more money through AdSense than through beat sales, which is really interesting. Third method for monetizing or producing is selling mixing services, okay? So this is not for guys who are less than a year in the game, but generally, if you're a producer for some time, you need to have some mixing skills. I just don't believe that you don't have some mixing skills, because if we want to improve our sound, we anyway have to mix our beats. We need to understand the basics. So if you are kind of guy who just puts soft clipper on the master, do some really basic loudness balance, you will not really be able to monetize your mixing. But if you're like mixing for a year or 2 or more, and you read some books, you watched a lot of tutorials, you got some plugins for that. Generally don't need a lot of plugins, but that's like also good advantage, okay? If you generally got some theoretical knowledge in that and also some experience, that you can really do that. And by the way, if you are like me and you used to be a rapper too, and you used to mix your own vocals, mix vocals of your homies, maybe you just worked with rappers and had some acapellas of them, and generally to really have some experience in mixing, you can really sell your services. But important, you need to have some kind of portfolio, because if you tell any rapper that I'm just good at mixing and that's it, and you have no proof of your work, you will not sell it. Because I used to be decent at mixing, but I didn't have like specific portfolio. So even if I had someone kind of interested in my mixing, he asked for portfolio, and I showed him like one song from like some YouTube of mine, and he thought, yeah, I'm not really convinced. But recently, when I built some portfolio, people are starting to get really interested when I show it to them. Obviously, this is not mixing for Drake. This is for some underground artists who just struggle with mixing on their own, because this is actually difficult without any kind of knowledge and also proper gear. If you got good experience with mixing and have built some kind of portfolio, proofs of your work, you can definitely sell your mixing and mastering services. And you can sell it to rappers from your contacts, but even I was able to sell my mixing by finding this guy on Instagram threads. So yeah, you can probably find even people looking for mixing and mastering on Twitter and Instagram threads. This is 100% possible. If you don't believe me, you can just DM me and I will show you proofs of that, okay? So yeah, this is really that easy to find clients for your mixing. Method number 4 is making deals on Instagram. You need to create some kind of content. You need to get popular on Instagram directly, or just become popular with Typebeats, and then you got people coming to you. Generally, making deals on Instagram is, for example, in my case, second step of monetizing my audience, because the first step is making this first deal through my YouTube Typebeats and BeatStars, and then I try to connect with artists, I try to create some relationship, and then we make more specific deals. And those specific deals are, for example, include pack of 5 beats, maybe some mixing, maybe some exclusive license. Generally, this is not something that works by itself. This is usually the second step of creating relationship with artists, and important, you anyway need to create content. You don't need to go viral, but you need to have some kind of branding. At first, you need to have nice Instagram page, and more important, you need to get some kind of views and new followers, okay? So yeah, we as producers want to use YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. We want to funnel it to our DMs. I'm not really into TikTok, but if you can do DMs on TikTok, that probably works too. So yeah, generally we want to get people to our DMs, and you want to make some deals with them. What's the difference between making deal on Instagram from making deal on BeatStars? If you have no basic skills of selling, there is no difference, because you will anyway just sell a license and you will not do much more. But if you understand how to do upsells, how to really make an offer, how to really make people interested in more of your services, you will be able to make a lot more money, okay? So I had this guy, and we just made one deal through BeatStars for like $50, and then he really liked my stuff. He really generally we really connected really well, and then we made a lot more deals, okay? So we made some exclusive deals, we made some mixing, some mastering, some arrangement of his songs. So yeah, I made this $50 deal on this first transaction, and then I think that overall it was something like $500 or more by all those deals that we are just doing through Instagram, just calling on WhatsApp. I call it deals on Instagram, but it just means that you develop any kind of relationship with artists, and you just give them some specific offer. It's not something that you got on your website that, yeah, I got free beats for $40. No, you just show them your specific beats and tell them, okay bro, for you it's like $100 for 4 beats, and that's it. If you want to get more knowledge about selling beats online, you can just subscribe to me here on YouTube and follow me on Instagram, link in the description. Method number 5 is royalties, and generally for most of us, royalties will be this unknown area that we will never enter, or will enter in the few years, because generally if we are generally focusing on making our first few $1,000s, we are not thinking about getting placement with Drake or Travis Scott, okay? Because royalties will really play a big role in our life if songs with our beats get more than 1 million streams. It's generally this role. Our royalties are not worth much unless we get like 1 million streams. Obviously, we want to get into royalties if we get like 500,000 streams or something like that, because yeah, it will pay us something. But it will obviously pay us something, but generally don't over focus on this, because royalties is for guys who really just hit some placements, are not really doing smaller deals, so they focus 100% on those bigger deals, getting on Billboard. Now they music with their beats gets a lot of streams, and they just got royalties for that. And then you should focus on this. So generally, this is only for guys who just have opportunity to land placement with somebody big or already have this kind of placement. So now you want to get into royalties, you want to know more about it, you want to register your music to, it's called PRO, and generally you can do it also on BeatStars. But for example, I would make like definitely less than $200 on BeatStars by those songs that I registered. So I'm not even like, no, I don't even think that it's worth to fight with that. So yeah, if you just know that you can make some real money through royalties, just try to get them. But for most guys in the beginning of this journey, like, you don't already have good enough placements that will generate enough streams, so focus on other methods at the moment. Method number 6 is policeman method, and this is really interesting because what I mean, you just are looking for guys who stole your beats, okay? I once used this platform that was called Wave, something like that. Generally, it didn't work, and once I lost password, I couldn't log in, so I had to generally, like, you know, I had to delete my card number from that, and I'm not going back there because that website definitely has something wrong in it. But yeah, I just found, like, I was really crazy. I found like 50 songs at least with stolen beats. Some of them were really popular, like, okay, not viral, but generally, you know, I would be happy with seeing like few thousand streams, and I saw there were like, you know, 50,000 streams. I had to delete some of them because 90% of people that you will find this way will not pay you money because they just were absolutely conscious about stealing your beats. But some of people, and this is really interesting, actually got scammed. Two guys, like one girl and one guy, they literally got scammed by their producers who just took my beats from YouTube. And I understand, I'm not sure how it worked, but generally probably told them that those are some free beats, or those are their beats, but they didn't pay me any money. So I found those songs after one song was 2 years old, second was 1 year old. And generally they just paid me. They paid me regular money for this, and what's even better, this one girl actually still work with her. Now I landed 2 songs on her album, so we are still working. And so yeah, generally this is really worth to track your music this way. You okay, if you're few months in the game, your beats are not really popular and stuff, you will probably not get much from looking those guys who stole your beats. But if you're few years in the game, you will definitely 100%, I'm sure 100% that you will find something that will pay you money, and you may even create some connections with guys, because yeah, it happens that people literally get scammed and they didn't sometimes even know about stealing your beats. Method number 7 is sending out loops. I'm not expert in sending loops. I've never made money sending loops because I've never got into that. Generally, the whole idea is that instead of just focusing on building your actual brand of making type beats or some stuff on Instagram, you want to find producers who already have clients, who already have views, who already make money. You want to send them loops, so just get collabs with them, and then when they make money, you will make money because of royalties. So you, for example, send them loop and you say 50-50 split. So now this popular guy, for example, he just sells his beat for $50 on BeatStars, and you get $25 directly. So yeah, it sounds like this is great, but at first you need to be good at making loops. For example, I'm more into making whole beats. I really like putting drums on stuff and like, you know, all that. So yeah, I don't like making loops. I'm not loops kind of guy because I also use a lot of samples. So it doesn't really make sense to use some kind of loop from sample and then send it to somebody, because then who I am in this process, I'm some fucking okay, you probably get my point. So yeah, this is for guys who really like to create things from scratch and probably have some musical skills of playing on the piano, playing on the violin, and stuff like that. But remember, this is not some cheat code for success, for making money. This requires as much grind as building your brand as producer. And generally the problem is, if you don't really succeed at making type beats, you anyway get some kind of subscribers, views on YouTube. If you don't succeed at sending out loops, it means that you just a spammer on Instagram who is sending out loops everywhere and you didn't get anything. So yeah, because this is called outreach method. Some people will also try to sell their sample packs on YouTube, but generally this best method is sending out to already successful producers, because this is kind of smart, but remember, it requires a lot of grinding and building connections with those producers. So don't expect it to be some magic money cheat code for selling your beats for like you know, so easily. If I spoke about cold outreach, we get to the most irritating and the most hated method of making money as producer, which is sending out cold outreach DMs on Instagram. So you probably tried it. Every producer tried to send some DM to Drake and sell him a beat. It generally doesn't work. Even a few years ago, it was still possible. Kind of conversion ratio, people were kind of opening those DMs. Right now, I have no idea if it's just me, but a few years ago, I mean 2 years ago, I could send out like 100 DMs and get 30-40 responses back, literally. Now I send like, because I just tried it for experiment, I can just send 30, because I didn't want to send this much because it was really fucking irritating and it doesn't make any fucking money. So I sent out like 30 and had no response. So yeah, I think that cold outreach as a producer is really dead. There is like one nuance to cold outreach. If you really are focused on some artist or group of artists and you just trying to build really genuine connection, so you start with commenting their posts, liking their stuff, maybe some, you know, you reply to their story on Instagram, and after a few weeks or even months of building this micro relationship, maybe then you show them your beats and maybe it will work. But generally now, sending out just packs on Instagram will not work. Don't try to do that because that's stupid. So yeah, my point is like this method number 8 is just creating genuine relationships through Instagram. And in this case, it doesn't really require putting out a lot of content. You just need to have nice Instagram page to just make sure that people understand that you are a producer. And then you want to build this relationship from the scratch. But you start, you know, you give them a follow, then you give them a few likes, you comment their posts, then you reply to the story, you just really type some DM, but not just yo, buy my beats, bro, but yeah, your music is nice, this song is nice. You just need to be out. You can't be just another producer in their DMs, because all rappers have a lot of this type of stuff in their DMs, so they will not be interested in your beat packs, okay? Generally, cold outreach is nice if you're total beginner, you haven't made any money, and you totally want to start with that. So yeah, probably for making your first $20, it will be faster than doing through Typebeats, BeatStars, and all those other methods, because you have this. If you really get committed to that and you try to get to like few hundred rappers, there is some kind of chance that one of them will pay you those $10 for a bit, okay? But don't expect to make sustainable business from sending out cold DMs, okay? Okay, and the last method, which seems like it's kind of blowing up recently, is making producer album. So there is this one guy which is called Baragini on Instagram. And it's actually interesting because he's really viral with his beats, but he also gets a lot of placements with like really popular guys. So he has this one placement with this friend of Big X the Black, which is Rosama. He has with NBA Youngboy and some other like guys, popular guys landing placement, but he anyway makes producer album. I've generally recently heard a lot of stuff about producer's album, and I think that this is just some new way. I'm not sure why would it work, and I'm 100% sure that it works for guys who have some kind of brand, okay? It will not work for you if you have 20 followers, because nobody will listen to you on Spotify. But if you have some kind of brand, you probably can make money through producer album. I also heard about this one other guy. It was kind of popular. I don't remember his name because he was like not some viral Instagram guy, but some older guy from this rap game. But yeah, generally I will test it in coming weeks and months, try to release producer album, and I will let you know more about it. But generally, yeah, if you got some kind of brand, you can try to release producer album. It's possible that you will make some money this way, because people are doing that currently. This is not some idea from previous century. People are actually doing that, so you could definitely try that. Yeah, so these are all ways that I could figure out to make money from producing. There are probably more ways, but this is all I got in mind. This is what I really find working out. Not on for me and for guys who I generally trust, because I don't give you some methods that are like, you know, and are Most of those methods are checked by me, and some of them are proved by guys who are really reliable, so I can tell you, yeah, you can make money through loops, royalties and stuff. It generally will work to your album too. If you want to make your first $1,000 selling beats online, I got this specific paid product. This is called First K Beat. It's first link in the description, and it is focused on setting up your business for making your first K from selling beats, so just go check it. First link in the description. You can subscribe me, follow me on Instagram. That's all. Bye.